Hi, my name is Renee, and I've been developing a web application called Alberta Well Finder for the past year, almost a year. And I'm doing it in SvelteKit using Supabase as a backend. And like many of you developers, I use AI all the time. What's really blowing my mind lately is how much better some of the models, especially Claude.AI 3.5 Sonnet, are with analyzing code and understanding what my intent is. And I want to give you an example. This is my first video recording an experience I had today, which just absolutely blew my mind. And there are a few lessons that I think I've learned, and probably many of you have learned as well, with regard to prompting. The first lesson is this, and actually before I show you that, this is basically it. It's meant to make it easy to look up well sites in a Supabase application, get driving directions, etc. Okay, so it all works. But the part that I was working on this afternoon was regarding the API. I'm building an API service that will let users integrate their own systems with Alberta Well Finder and make things easier. And so the first thing I did was in this new chat include the database schema. This is and can be so helpful in helping the AIs, the LLMs, to understand the structure of your application. And this schema is, I mean, it's not tiny, but it's, 600 and some lines. And because database schema have like relationships, and even better if you can like include notes and comments, it really gives the AI tremendous insight into how the thing is structured and what you're trying to do. So first thing I do is paste that in, and then I tell it what I want to do. Now, it at first doesn't really understand what I mean, or at least I didn't maybe give it enough. But as I scroll down and tell it like, okay, I want you to write a migration for API enabled and key, it gets closer and closer to understanding what I'm thinking, or at least what I want, and maybe even if I don't say it. And finally, I'm going through some UI stuff, and this is where it really blows me away. Here, I'll just make this bigger. Can you adjust this? So this component here, well, it's actually a page. It's like almost 400 lines of code. So that when the switch, okay, right here, for API enabled is toggled, it changes the profile.api enabled boolean in Supabase accordingly. Also, please put the API key in a read-only input field with helper text below explaining that to the effect, this key is needed for requests and should be kept secret, not shared with anyone. And if you feel it's been leaked, add a button that regenerates the API key using a random UUID, includes a Grace function of this. Any clarifying questions, or can you proceed with near perfect understanding of my intent? Now, this is really important. When you're working with AIs, they really want to please you. And if you don't give them enough data to work with, they'll just guess. And then that's where, you can waste some time, or in my case, it was a few minutes. It's hilarious because it saves so much time overall that when I say waste time, it's, splitting hairs. And it just got it. With this and the schema and a little bit of the conversation before, it instantly understood what to do. Now, here's what I did. It wrote, it wrote part of it. It didn't. It does this, which annoys me, and I usually tell it, please give me the whole component, because otherwise you have to like copy and paste and blah blah blah. So it did that, and so I just said, okay, I want you to write out the entire file, and then it did, and it explained what it's doing. And so at this point, nothing happens, okay? This is just toggling and nothing's happening. I copy this and just select all, paste, so a few more lines, save, and boom. I get a toast message. I get my API key. And if I look at the database, the back end, this is really in Supabase now. This is the UUID, unique key. I think maybe it's been leaked. Click. It wrote all of the hooks, all of the UI, and it just works. And this, to me, is absolutely incredible. My top tip to anyone doing web development or any kind of development that involves a back end is spend a lot of time writing your database schema, commenting it well, and then run that through Claude or GPT-4o is like, it's good. It's not as good as Claude in my opinion. I think Claude is king at the moment this week. And then the schema will inform very, very nicely everything else that it can help you with in developing your application and adding features like an API endpoint. So, that was my today, Wednesday. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.